They were small in number, but always felt God alongside of them. They shared testimonies of how God was working in their lives. Still, they prayed for greater tolerance and understanding. Without a permanent pastor and sparse attendance for the monthly covenant meetings, they always spoke of knowing God's presence. For that time, they decided to maintain a prayer meeting on the Sabbath. On several occasions, Brother Potter was the supply pastor during this period. Now, Potter was a very precise person. He wrote in his letter of arrangement that his salary was not to go below $600, plus his living quarters in a parsonage, which had to be in proper repair. The Sabbath School report was presented along with the Treasury report. Attendance for Sabbath School counted 47 out of the 85 registered members. The Treasurer's report stated that they had $4.52 on hand in June of 1872. Expenses for 1873 were $588.53, and the income was $588.52, with a remaining balance of 22 cents left on hand. Ordination was an important event. The Council of Ordination was comprised of the pastors from surrounding churches, not only for the purpose of examining the new pastor, but, as proper, to assist with the ordination. After 3 hours of oral examination, he was ordained in one evening. There was a Dr. Smith who attended the pastor's class and clearly voiced skeptical opinions about what was being taught. The pastor on duty decided to have a private talk with him about his conduct in class. This was to no avail, and Dr. Smith, irritated even more now, left the class and joined the ladies' class. The result was no different, and he had another altercation with that teacher. As written, the pastor and a deacon went to visit Dr. Smith in hopes of a better understanding of the problem, and he tried to explain the situation. The doctor got upset, flew into a rage, and began shouting at them to leave. The pastor tried to calm the doctor by continuing to talk with him, but Smith attacked him, knocked him down, grabbed his hair, and jerked his head. The result was that the church resolved to exclude Dr. Smith from Sabbath school, their opinion being he is a rebellious influence and a physically dangerous man. Covenant and business meetings were very sparsely attended. The business concerned filling vacated trustee and deacon positions, receiving new members, and dropping non-participating members from the rolls. They were filled with regret about their inactivity and in work for the prosperity of Zion. A proposal was made during those years to build another parsonage. The lot next to the church, which they owned, was under contract to a Dr. Hilch. They proposed to switch the lot with the parsonage on it with him, but the contract for his lot expired. They then decided to sell the old place and build next to the church. The original estimated cost they wanted to pay was $900, but they later rescinded this. No other amount was given. After the evening of the 19th, they consented to have him preach the next Sabbath morning and evening services. He preached each Sabbath until the end of December. During this time, both the interest and numbers increased. The weekly prayer meetings and Sabbath school resumed, and the covenant meetings and communion services were observed. An extra meeting in April 1881 was called. 7 church members met to discuss the proposal of the Association of the Home Mission Societies Committee. The society asked for 2 of Warrenville's weekly offerings to be sent to the Home Mission Society. They tabled it, that is the request, until further notice because they did not want to take the responsibility. On September 30th, 1882, the church was called to order to have an informal discussion on what was for the good of the church. It was voted that Elder Hobbs act as an agent of the church to find on what condition the State General Association of Baptist Churches of Illinois would take charge of the property of the Warrenville Church and all information connected herewith. By this time, most of the early pioneer Christians who worked so hard for the founding of this church had either passed away or had moved out of the area long ago. The church was being held together by 3 to 11 faithful members. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. Just as when this church was formed in 1834, there was a few that did the most work to hold this church together. Now in the late 1880s, the names have changed, but a faithful few hard workers offer to be reelected over and over, or they switch to other posts. A new year, a new time. They decided that during the winter, church services would be held every 2 weeks with preaching. To keep Reverend Haggard for the rest of the 1888 year, they applied to the Baptist organization for $200, and they also sought subscriptions from the members. Brother Folsom was a young student, 29 years old, at Morgan Park College. He graduated in 1890 and was made member upon the receipt of his letter from Concord, New Hampshire. The church at this time was busy getting back to the business of church. Their covenant meetings were quite regular now, and at times had a fairly good attendance.
Okay. The state of the church, January 1890. We have much reason to be thankful for the spiritual prosperity which we have enjoyed during the last year. We are made to rejoice during the increased interest manifested by the young people. During the last winter, we had special meetings held by Brother J.E. Wolf, and much interest was taken by all denominations, and we trust lasting good may result. There has been 7 baptized out of our Sabbath school into the church, and others are waiting for an opportunity to receive baptism. We have dismissed 1 by letter. Our church has been visited by death, and our much beloved Brother Joseph Hudson has been taken away. He was one of the old pioneer Christians of Warrenville and truly a man of God. Our pastor, Reverend Folsom, who has been with us since Brother Haggard left, graduated at Morgan Park in April and is remaining with, and no doubt we shall be greatly benefited by his stay among us. Although we are rather weak financially, we trust we are growing stronger spiritually, and we would desire an interest in the prayers of all Christian people for our spiritual welfare. That's it.